Welcome back to the gardens for part 2 of a Friday morning wander around the gardens. I'm your host as usual, the voice with no face, and I'm giving you a little look round today because it's way too warm to garden, and yet it's far too nice not to be in the gardens. So whether you're in a flat, a house, on a cruise ship, wherever you are, I thought I'd give you a little more of an insight into the gardens and some of the things that we do and some of the things that are happy accidents. So the fernery, of course, is all now waist high, and that's wonderful. And we've got a lovely camellia, which is pink when it comes out. And then we've got down the bottom end there, we've got an obelisk in a pot, and that's ivy. We have winter flowering jasmine. We have a clematis called Gillian Blade, so it's the pure white one. And you can see it's all coming together and it's all knotting together, creating that lovely feeling of full summer planting that we're heading towards. It's lush, it's verdant, it's green. And talking of green, did you know there are more shades of green than there are of any other colour that you can imagine? So when someone says, oh, 50 shades of grey, you want to try 50 shades plus of green. Here we have the full stop. It comes right to the end of the garden. It's right at the very end of the path. So we've got the turquoise pot, or teal if you prefer, with the little birds on there, and there's also a little bit of bird metal work. And so at the end of the garden, regardless of the season, you just have a little bit to look at. It just adds a little extra focus to what we've got. We've got the tree, we've got the green fence panels. We did just about there between the two posts that you can see. We did last year have a bird box there, but we took it down. It was only getting bees in there. So when the bees left, we took the box down. So we've got a fruit tree, not entirely sure what it is, but it's either a pear or a plum, because we do have another fruit tree in the garden. If we just look up, all the way up to the top, can you see just there in the centre now? That is penstemon coral, and we do have a penstemon in the front garden, which is the same variety, but slightly different, darker colour. So this area is the bank. Why is it called the bank? Well, it's the raised area. It's never been dug down into while we've ever lived here, so we just call it the bank. So we've got some hebe in flower there. This stuff's brilliant because you can just lop a bit off anytime you want, and you can put it into any flower arrangement. And then in the middle, if you can see, we've got the ivy. Now that is actually in its own pot, and when all this dies back, you will be able to see it at another point in the year. We've got the steps. These had a bit of a weed out the other day, so they are looking a bit better than they were. But I don't think at this point we'll ever get back to how they were when they were first put in. It would be a mammoth task to try and redo that, but I did enjoy doing it at the time. I spent a good couple of days putting those in originally. So that's one of the little animal sculptures you can see there in the middle there, the squirrel. But we do get the real thing in the garden. In fact, just this start of this week we had 2 squirrels in the garden, so that was nice to see. So let's move back a little bit and I'll show you the variegated euonymus. Now this one is slightly different to the other ones that you will have seen in the garden, in that it is doing something that they don't do. That's right, flower. And you may not get an euonymus to flower, although they do flower. This one, it was a surprise because it didn't flower, and we'd had it 4 years, I would say, and all of a sudden, wow, it's in flower. Some of the tips go yellow, as you can see there, and that also adds to the vibrancy and the effect, because when you're further back at the house, you think, oh, there we are, a little lovely pop of colour. What else have we got? Well, we've got the purple gentians. I don't know the name of them, but they are very nice, and they don't come up half as colourful as what they are in real life. They are actually beautifully purple. Let's try and show you that one. See, that one looks like a washed out purple, but actually, see the darker area? The darker area is actually the lightest part of the flower when you see it in real life. So we'll little wander a bit further on. What have we got? So these ones, these are called Wargrave Pinks, and there's quite a common variety of gentian, and there used to be a big swathe of them from the far left, right round to this point here. But as things are with us humans, we like to add and change and do different things. This is a bit scrabby looking at the moment, but as I say, we've not had all that much rain. This is lovely. I think it's called something like Christmas Rose, but it's not actually a rose, and thus far, since I planted it, it's not actually flowered. So I'm going to presume that it's still finding its feet, so to speak, but it still adds a bit of colour, and it's all year round colour, so that even when it is winter time, we've still got a pot of colour in the gardens. This was a marvellous find. Yes, it was from Aldi. There's a ball in the middle which lights up, but the best thing about it is the wind. As you can see, it's just that little bit of extra movement in the gardens, a little extra eye catcher, and it is standing atop another little eye catcher that I created out of a couple of curved roof caps and a bit of metal that I found in the gardens, and thought, oh, I know, I can put all those together. It looks a bit like a tuning fork, so that kind of reflects back on my creativity. I like music, I like dance, I like painting, I like drawing, I like photography. As you can see, I like filmmaking, and I have got a media degree, and in that there's performing arts as well. So we've got some more of these little sculptures, sculptural stems that you saw earlier on in part 1, which are down by the terrace seating area, and this has all gone a bit mad, and it will get tidied out at some point, but just at the moment it's so nice to see so much colour in the gardens. So we've got the faux and bubble pool there, which is made entirely out of pieces of glass, beach glass. Then in the middle we've got some fake planting mixed in with some real planting, and behind here, when it all dies back, there's actually some fake planting as well. So it's nice to have a mix, I think. People go, oh, you don't want to have plastic plants in your garden, but you've got a section somewhere in your garden where nothing will grow. So why not stick a plastic plant in until you decide what you can put in that section? It might be that you change your mind and want to put in something sculptural, or it might be that, no, you're quite happy with the plastic. So we've got the Erica on the left, in the middle we've got the Astilbe, and we've got a Japanese maple just at the back, and coming up roses, so to speak, we've also got the Buddleia, which we thought we'd lost because it did seem to have died right the way back. What else have we got? We've also got what we thought had died, a Christmas tree, which I cloud pruned, so it's been pruned underneath so that the plants around it can all flower and won't be affected by the tree being there itself. And then there's also, right at the very back, I don't know if you can quite see it, there's also another Christmas tree, which I did plan to take out, but it's survived. So we have two Christmas trees. So we call this the woodland area, and when it's springtime it is rammed with bluebells. So that's the woodland bed. There will be a pass cutting ceremony at some point to get us back in there, so we can get all the way around to do pruning when we need to. But just for now, I do think it looks rather nice. So I'm going to say, let's just leave it there for now, so you can see this section of the gardens, and I will speak a little more in part 3. Bye bye for now.